Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Thursday, December 21st, as we roll into this holiday season a little bit more. College and NBA basketball. We have one college game that we're on, and then the rest of it's going to be the NBA slate. But we'll get into the college game. It is at around 4 o'clock Arizona time, so 6 o'clock East. Kentucky, Louisville, obviously in-state battle. Kentucky 13.5 point favorite. They just have way too many weapons for Louisville, I believe. So therefore, we're going to take advantage of that particular matchup, and we're going to go with, obviously, Kentucky minus the 13.5, as I couldn't find it anywhere cheaper, right? So on that one there. So Kentucky minus 13.5, then also Kentucky minus 7.5 first half. So one more time, Kentucky minus 13.5 for the game, and then minus 7.5 first half as well. My apologies. And then we'll get into this NBA slate here and get this rolling as well. So like I said, Kentucky, just in case you missed that, minus 13.5 for the game and minus 7.5 first half are the two plays for that particular one. NBA slate's got some weird games on it tonight, so we'll say that so far. So first game up on the NBA slate, we're going to be looking at Utah and Detroit. And wow, I was trying to go through to find some value on anything. The problem was there's not a lot of player props available in this game. So we've mentioned this about every episode. Not all of our bets are going to be in here. We might have a few get added later. This is probably one of those games where we're going to go hunting for value. Is normally, and this is true of all sports, if you get a piss poor matchup like this, probably nobody wants to bet it. So there's a lot of lines that stay opening lines for a long time and don't really move because there's not really any like major action going either way, like any sharp bettors coming in and making the move, as it's not a very interesting game, so to speak. But for the NBA nerds, there are some players obviously fighting for some stuff, fighting for future contracts, all that kind of fun stuff. So like I said, was something we're going to be hunting at, but nothing there. So make sure you do check out the Google Sheets later on today. Pelicans, Cavs, and this line has just moved. And a lot of stuff is frozen on this. The lines are down. So Pelicans minus, it was 2.5 where we got it not even an hour ago. Now up to 4 on some books, but Pelicans going to Cleveland. We do like the Pelicans just have more offensive firepower than Cleveland does, especially with Mobley out. That does hurt Cleveland quite a bit. I mean, Donovan Mitchell can only score 40 plus how many nights in a row on this one? The Pelicans just have too much, I think, offensively. So unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of player props out on this, but we do like the game. So Pelicans minus a half first quarter, minus a half first half. And like I said, we took a minus 2.5 for the game. We also took the Pelicans over 115.5 team total. I'm not sure who just went out for the big line move. I doubt it was a sharp better. So I'm looking at a couple books basically with the same line now. So obviously some sort of adjustment there as it's moved on a couple different books from that 2.5 to 4 mark, and that's within the last hour. No player props really available besides Donovan Mitchell, and we don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to have the glorious game tonight. So we're going to have to add those a little bit later, so do apologize about that. But Pelicans minus a half first quarter, minus a half first half, minus 2.5 for the game, and Pelicans over the 115.5 team total. Is where we're sitting on that one. Next game up, Pacers, Grizzlies. Grizzlies with John Morant back look like a new team. Obviously, getting a superstar type caliber player back does that for you. As everybody else gets to go down a peg and relax. Desmond Bane doesn't have to run the team, be the star on the team, even though he's a great player, great shooter. He doesn't have to be the number one go-to guy, which definitely frees him up, so on and so forth, right? Pacers they won the last game. They haven't, they haven't played extremely well, and they've been in a lot of blowouts. So it'd be interesting to see them in a game that's like within 10 the whole time. We're not going to take a side here. It's just a little hard to read Memphis after game one, if that's actually what we're going to see out of Memphis and John Morant or not. So we are going to take some player props, though, in the game, and we are going back to Halliburton. And if he would ever play a fucking fourth quarter, these would be the easiest things to cover on earth. But Halliburton over 24.5 points. Miles Turner over 15.5 points. Halliburton over 3.5 threes. It's moved back up again. What a shock that was. Once he hit 3 threes, now we're back up to 3.5. But we will take it, and it's a good chance with the plus money. And Halliburton over 40.5 par. So one more time in that Pacers-Grizzlies game, Halliburton over 24.5 points, over 3.5 threes, and over 40.5 par points, assists, rebounds combined. And then we're also going to get Miles Turner over 15.5 points. Before the injury, his number was 18.5 to 20.5 pretty consistently. So I feel like we're getting some value here. I understand he didn't score a lot the last time, but didn't have to play the fourth quarter. That's probably a big reason why. So we'll go ahead and snag that up at the over 15.5. Next game up for us is going to be Spurs-Bulls, or next game on the schedule, I should say. Spurs going to Chicago, 5.5 point favorite for Chicago at home. So normally not a big fan of betting any Bulls games because it never seems to work out well, but we do like the Spurs. The Spurs are consistently non-defensive oriented, might be the best way to put it. Their defense sucks on a consistent basis. So until that point, you got a good baseline and kind of figure out everything from there. So we are going to take the total in this game. We necessarily don't like the game, but we do like the over 228.5. We'll get to that in a second. Wembanyama missed the last game with the ankle injury. Supposed to be back tonight. So back to the Wembanyama props we go, as those have been extremely profitable all season. So Wemby over 21.5 points. His rebound line now has went to 13.5. We're still going to take the over, as I think he's good for, he's a 15 rebound a night guy. So until they get to that point, and then we'll start having to maybe measure a little bit more. But it is plus money at the over 13.5 on a couple sites. So make sure you do shop that around if you're going for those Wembanyama over rebounds. Wembanyama over 2.5 blocks still, so we're going to hammer on that one as well. And then Wembanyama over 3.5 turnovers. He's back to the 3.5 turnover mark. We're still going to take the over there to see if we can get him to turn the ball over 4 times. And when you're 7 foot 12, 12 foot tall, it just happens. People swipe at the ball. You throw a bad pat, all kinds of stuff. So, and then we're also Kobe White for the Bulls over a half a steal. This is heavily juiced. If you're not comfortable with the heavy juice, completely understand. But it's pretty rare when he doesn't at least get one steal. Spurs, Bulls, like I mentioned, over 58.5 first quarter, over 116.5 first half, and over 228.5 for the game. So we'll give you this game one more time. Wembanyama over 21.5 points, over 13.5 rebounds, over 2.5 blocks, and over 3.5 turnovers. Kobe White over a half a steal. Spurs, Bulls over 58.5 first quarter, over 116.5 first half, and over 228.5 total for the game. Next game up is going to another barn burner, right? Magic Bucks. Magic absolutely shit the bed last night at home against Miami. It was embarrassing, especially after just getting beat by a couple games by the Celtics. Magic in a little bit of a funk right now. I think the Bucks take advantage of this one here. And just destroy him. Now, the weird thing with the Bucks is Giannis has turned into, I want to give 25 assists a game and not score his normal 35, which is fine. I just wish he would have sent a note out to the NBA bettors so they could bet accordingly. But it's the way it's been going the last couple games. Not a shock there. So we're going to take maybe a few different actions on this one you normally wouldn't see. But we do like the Bucks -3 first quarter, -5 first half, -8.5 for the game. Giannis under 32.5 points. Damian Lillard over 3.5 threes. As Giannis has seemed to just say, hey, I'm going to keep throwing you 3-point opportunities, Lillard, and you keep banging them home. Giannis over 11.5 rebounds. Giannis over 5.5 assists. Giannis over 3.5 turnovers. And Giannis over 17.5 rebounds plus assists. So it's instead of par, it's raw, or R, if you want to say AR. On that one there. So we'll go through those bets one more time. Bucks -3 first quarter, -5 first half, -8.5 for the game. Giannis under 32.5 points. Lillard over 3.5 threes. Giannis over 11.5 rebounds, over 5.5 assists, and over 3.5 turnovers, and over 17.5 rebounds and assists combined. Next game up on the schedule is going to be Clippers Thunder. We're really interested in watching this game. Of course, the Clippers have been on fire as of late, kind of mentioned it in yesterday's episode, and that was a pretty big sweep there. Unfortunately, we got multiple reports of Paul George playing and then Paul George not playing, so we had a couple bigger void tickets, but that's all right. We still made plenty of coin on that particular game with the Clippers. But Clippers are a 4.5 point dog on the road, back-to-back nights. Thunder have plenty of rest coming off 236 total as well in this game. We're staying away from the side. We are going to play the total. Thunder Clippers over 58.5 first quarter, over 117 first half, over 236 for the game. We also like Holmgren over 16.5 points, Holmgren over 2.5 blocks, Holmgren over 1.5 turnovers as well. We're waiting to see what Paul George is actually going to play in this game. If he is, we're probably going to go back and we'll hit a couple more props. If not, we're probably going to stay where we're at. So on that one there. So just to give you that rundown again, Thunder Clippers over 58.5 first quarter, over 117 first half, over 236 total. And then Holmgren over 16.5 points, Holmgren over 2.5 blocks, Holmgren over 1.5 turnovers in that particular matchup there. Next game up front on the slate is going to be Lakers Timberwolves. Timberwolves, I won't say get embarrassed, but they got beat up pretty good by Philly last night. And the Lakers also playing yesterday. T-Wolves back at home, 6.5 point favorite. We really like the T-Wolves at home. So T-Wolves minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, and minus 6.5 for the game. Rudy Gobert over 1.5 blocks. Here's the hard thing when it comes to betting any particular Laker game. LeBron and AD are game time decisions on almost every game, which limits a lot of player props. I'd be really honest. I would play AD over rebounds and over blocks in almost every game. Unfortunately, though, you guys aren't going to see it unless it's on the Google sheet because he's always a freaking game time decision. On back-to-back nights, it's even a little scarier. And then once again, because Austin Reeves, things of that nature, they're not sure if AD is going to play. It holds up a lot of the other props. The only one they normally put out there is LeBron because everybody wants to bet on LeBron props, right? So that's the problem. Like they'll hold back AD, Austin Reeves, who's been firing the ball as of late. We'd like to hop on those. Those are things you're going to have to check out in the Google Sheets like we've mentioned to see if we get those maybe an hour and a half before, maybe even a half hour before a game time. It's unfortunate. I wish AD and the league could do something about this, but unfortunately, they're not going to do anything about this at all. It's been proven year after year on this. It's just, the guys are either injury prone or getting older. I understand all that. And that's why the back-to-back nights, I love the in-season tournament. I might be one of the few people that really dug it, but I did like it. It did add, it seemed like they played a little bit harder during those times. Vegas was pretty cool. The problem I have is it led to some of these teams getting like 5 days off, and then we got a bunch of these back-to-back games, and the back-to-backs are what caused the problem on the betting side. So that's kind of the issue with it, right? But, I don't understand why we have to play all these back-to-back nights, but then they're getting 2 or 3 days off. Let's just skip the 2-3 day off and let's go every other day and play this shit. I understand TV schedules have a lot to do with it. TNT gets their night Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays and Fridays are for the NBA. I understand all that, or for ESPN. I can understand any of that part, but it's just a little frustrating on the betting side. So like I've mentioned a few times before, at the end of every episode that we do, make sure you do check out the link in the comments section. It is our Google Sheet, but it's basically our ledger. It says docs.google.spreadsheet and a bunch of other stuff after it. This will have a list of all of our bets, what juice we got those at, how many units we took, and what book we placed those at. So do make sure you check that out. It'll have everything we went through in this episode. If you're looking for what we did yesterday, or if you're looking for football's on there as well in our different tab, and it'll be in our next episode here coming up. All of that stuff will be there, so make sure you do check that out. We play a lot of action, therefore there can be, it's hard to keep up with every bet that we say on the episode. I completely understand. So make sure you do check out those Google Sheets. And as always, if you could subscribe and get notifications to the YouTube channel, so when we drop our bets, you get those first. Makes it life so much easier when you subscribe and turn those notifications on. Every time Sports Bets for Free drops new videos, new episodes of our bets, you'll get notified first and give you plenty of time to match them up with your bets to give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window. I do appreciate everybody's support as always and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.